In our last class, we were discussing about text adaptation. This is one simple question. Like, in our previous classes, just I want to remind you, we discussed curriculum and different elements, components of English curriculum, basic level, grade 6 at. And there we discussed introduction part, competencies part, learning outcomes, grade wise and skill wise learning outcomes of grade 6, 8. And we discussed about language functions also mentioned in the curriculum, and some, facilitation process, like, principles, like, phone and engagement, ample, exposure in English. Similarly, communicative tasks and activities should be used, and content and language integrated learning should be focused. Then we also discuss about use of ICT tools in English class, and another is diversity as resource. So these are the different principles we discussed. Then under the learning activities, learning activities. So a long list of activities were there. We check that, and so you have to remember. Similarly, student evaluation process also given there, and finally specification grid or chart, that is test blueprint. How what kind of question should be asked in exam, and that test specification or a specification grid only, yes, is given there, and we discussed that also. And now textbook also we discussed in detail. Like, textbook is written for students learning. Textbook is students reading material, teachers reference material. So every student should have textbook in their hand, and they have to consult regularly every day, because textbook is specially designed for the students, so keeping their needs and interests in mind. And we also said that textbook is just one tool, one means to deliver objectives of the curriculum. So they have curriculum and textbook have such kind of relationship. Like, curriculum is policy document, textbook is what this is policy tool to implement the objectives of what curriculum. So these are the things we discuss. Now today we discuss this use of textbook, or this adaptation of textbook in our context. Then teacher's guide, and if possible we discuss use of dictionary in English class, a supplementary material. Now let's see the question here. What techniques of text adaptation, write the techniques of text adaptation. Also discuss with examples, how do you as English teacher of lower secondary adapt the use of textbook to address the real needs of the students. Okay, so here just this is the frame. Within this frame we can write our answer, like scene setting, or this is just introduction, few sentences we can write, and we can talk about adaptation, then talk about textbook adaptation. Why do we need to adapt the textbook? Techniques of textbook adaptation, adapting textbook to make it best suit to the need and context, best fit or suit. This to the need of the students or the context of learning. So these things, if we mention in the answer part, then I think it will be okay. Like scene setting, why do we need to talk about text adaptation? Because context is what? Context is post-method pedagogy we have in the present time. Post-method pedagogy. Then eclectic method is in practice. and that is the blended method, we can also say. Then pragmatism, we focus. Pragmatics, focuses on context and language learning. So context is important. And best practice or best fit practice. Today, we have this kind of debate also. Debate, should we follow best practice, or we have to seek or search for best fit practice? This kind of controversy, or let's say debate, we have in teaching and learning field. So here, post method pedagogy, I think here many of you are new in my class. So post method pedagogy, and just few sentences I'll write. Okay. So this is how the concept of post method pedagogy emerged in the field of language teaching and learning is. So if we see in the history of language teaching and learning, so many methods came and went. Many methods came and went. Many methods came and went. I know. So no single method could address classroom reality, because classroom reality is what different. Classroom reality. Your screen कसले कोरेको यस्तो ताल्यो भने. Okay. So many methods, like grammar translation method, direct method, or Duolingo method, then total physical response method. There are different methods. When we list, there will be long list of methods. So came and went. आए गए होइन. So no single method could address the classroom reality. कुनै पनि सिंगल मेथडले क्लासरुमको रियालिटीलाई एड्रेस गर्न सकेन होइन. So if this is so, if we again search, next method, there will be many methods. Okay. So instead of our method भन्दा पनि अब मेथडकै विकल्पमा जानुपर्छ भनेर, now we have to seek the alternative to method होइन. So no single method could address reality होइन. Could not enjoy its monopoly होइन. मोनोपोली एकाधिकार कुनै पनि मेथडले देखाउन सकेन. So what is the researchers, scholars, they started to do is search for alternative to method. मेथडकै विकल्पमा जाउन त भन्ने कुरा भयो होइन. एकपछि अर्को मेथड होइन कि. नाउ लेट्स गो टु मेथड इज डेड भन्ने धेरै आर्टिकलहरू पनि आए होइन. मेथड इज डेड, मरिसक्यो होइन. सो नो सिंगल मेथड कुड एड्रेस द क्लासरूम रियालिटी. क्लासरूम इज डाइभर्स होइन. सो टु एड्रेस दिस क्लासरूम डाइभर्सिटी, we should have such concept. We should have such concept that addresses the classroom reality, the real needs of the live needs of the students in the classroom. So they decided to search for alternative to method, and that result is what? Result is post method pedagogy. Result is post method pedagogy. So result is what? Post method pedagogy. Okay. And post method pedagogy consists of three parameters. Post method pedagogy consists of three parameters. अथवा यसलाई indicators भने पनि भयो, parameters भने पनि भयो होइन, principles भने पनि भयो. Three parameters, they are what? They are There are three parameters, like pedagogy of particularity. अब यस्तो हुनुपर्छ पढाइ भनेको pedagogy of practicality. अबको पढाइ भनेको व्यवहारिक हुनुपर्छ. pedagogy of possibility, हैन. So students, they have every learner has inherent potentiality to be educationally successful person, to be economically successful person, to be politically, socially successful person in the society. So why don't we explore that kind of inner potentiality of the students? That is the possibility. So pedagogy should seek to address these three part: pedagogy of particularity, pedagogy of practicality, pedagogy of possibility. Now here, pedagogy of particularity refers to teaching and learning activity should be teaching and learning activity should be to address every students needs and interest. Okay, so individual student has their different interest, needs, expectations, experience. So accordingly, we have to design our classroom activities or lesson activities. So here, to address different levels of varied levels of ability, interest of these students, mixed varied tasks. Mixed group is of course there, mixed group, and then we have to use what varied tasks. Some tasks are very high level, some tasks are of moderate level, some tasks are low level. So varied tasks we have to design and use in the mixed group to address the individual difference of the students. So this is one strategy also. Varied tasks we have to design. But what is reality is we use one size fits to all approach. Reality चाहिँ के हो भने we use what one size fits to all approach we apply. हैन एउटा एक्टिभिटीले सबै विद्यार्थीको चाहिँ needs and interest लाई address गर्छ. This kind of feelings we have, then we use this kind of activity in the classroom. But what is the classroom situation dictates is, so varied tasks should be there. If the learners who have low level of understanding, low level of pace of learning, then ability, so low level of tasks should be assigned to them, then they will learn accordingly. Some students are talented also, of high learning ability, then why don't we provide them the higher level tasks? So designing a simple one task and using that task to all students cannot be what useful and relevant in the mixed group. So what we have to understand is, in every English class there is diversity, there is mixed group of students, mixed in the sense that they have different learning styles, pace of learning, then experience, interest, needs, expectation. They have different from each other. So this is mixed group. So to this kind of mixed group, diverse group, teacher should design varied tasks, tasks of different levels. So varied tasks here, tasks of different level, tasks of different levels. यसरी चाहिँ बनाउनु पर्छ. one size not what, but not के चाहिँ होइन, not one size fits to all approach मा जाने होइन. एउटा एक्टिभिटी सबैलाई फिट हुन्छ भन्ने हिसाबबाट जाने होइन. So this kind of pedagogy is what? Pedagogy of particularity. Individual needs and interests लाई focus गर्नुपर्छ. So this is what pedagogy of particularity. So pedagogy of practicality, this says very interesting. This is so word link, uh, real world link. This is what real world link. Real world link means we try to bring outside world inside the classroom, inside the classroom. Why this we do this bridging bridging gap between skill getting uh, skill getting and skill using. So what students they learn inside the classroom, that should be applicable in the outside environment. So this kind of practicality, we have to seek, we have to try to develop in English class. Okay, this is real world link. बाहिरी संसारसँग सम्बन्धित भएको ज्ञान दिन पर्यो कि हामीले अहिले के भइराखेको छ भने in the present what is the practice is so we focus on knowledge. We focus on knowledge rather than what? Skills. We don't focus to skills. So now shift should be our shift कतातिर हुनु पर्छ? Shift should be towards SHOULD should be towards shift should be from knowledge to skill. अब knowledge to skill. हाम्रो चाहिँ knowledge based education now we have to go to skill based education. So we are focusing on knowledge. ज्ञानमा नै फोकस गरिरहेका छौँ हामीले हैन, स्किलमा जोड दिइरहेका छैन. So there should be shifting from a knowledge based education to what? Skill based education. And this is what this is related to the real life situation. Shifting from knowledge based education to what? Skill based education. So skill should be focused, skill based education in English class. So this should be, if we focus skill, then what? This will be practical. If we focus on real world link, this will be practical teaching. If we focus bringing outside world inside the classroom, बाहिरी संसारलाई कक्षा कोठाभित्र रिफ्लेक्ट गर्न पर्यो हैन, then this will be practical. Bridging the gap between skill getting and skill using. Skill getting where? In the classroom situation. Skill getting in the classroom situation and skill using in the real life situation. So this kind of gap should be bridged in English language class. So this is what practicality. व्यवहारिक ज्ञान दिन पर्यो के हैन, हामीले सैद्धान्तिक कुराहरू दियौं, अब व्यवहारिक ज्ञान दिनुपर्छ. त्यसको लागि चाहिँ we don't focus only GT method, we don't focus only on direct method, we don't focus only on audiolingual method, we don't focus only on total physical response method. So what we do is we focus on practicality. To ensure practicality in English classroom, we can borrow ideas from different methods. It doesn't matter. Sometimes audiolingual, sometimes GT method, sometimes direct methods. We can borrow ideas. So focus is what? Practicality. Should be practical. Focus is what? Particularity. Should be individually specific, empowering or fostering individual learners' needs. This is what this should be. Post method pedagogy. Individually specific students' needs and interests like explore garna paryo ke. So they have different expectation, different learning abilities, different linguistic background, cultural background, socio-economic background. They have different backgrounds. So in terms of these factors, they are different from each other. Then why don't we try to address individually specific needs in English class? So this is particularity. So for this varied level of tasks should be designed, tasks of different levels according to the level of students. They try to do and learn accordingly in the classroom. So this kind of, there are other methods, there are other, strategies also we can use to address pedagogy of particularity and in English class, like, so this technique can also be used. Learning DNA, we say learning DNA, and another one is, use of, KYS form. So these are, some other, strategy to address, pedagogy of, particularity. So here, learning DNA means we have to identify individual students, desire. D means what? Desire. Then what? N means what? Need. And A means what? And A means what? Asset. What kind of, strong point they have. So individual students desire, we have to, teacher. We means teacher. Every teacher should try to explore individual learners' desire, need, and asset. What kind of, positive aspect they have, then explore that. त्यसको लागि चाहिँ यो पत्ता लगाइसकेपछि DNA, उसको learning DNA पत्ता लगाइसकेपछि, then we can design what? Tasks and activities accordingly. So first, learning DNA should be focused. And use of KYS form means, like in banking system, financial institutions, what they do is there is KYC form they use. KYC means know your customer. In the same way, in education, in teaching and learning in the classroom, why don't we use KYS form? KYS means, K means KNOW, no. KNOW, no. Y means your. Yes means students. Know your students. Why don't we use this kind of, form in English language class to make it what, very live and what, fresh, class. So there are many ways to address, individual learner, needs and interest. This is related to mixed group, diverse group, and, exploring their, individual learners' possibility, potentiality, their, these things. Okay. So we use what? Varied level of tasks. We use what? DNA, learning DNA, we find out. And we use what? KYC form. Then we design tasks to address their needs and interest. And practicality, yes, you understand, this is a link between outside world and inside the classroom. So this can be what? Bridging this gap and, providing students what they need outside the classroom. बाहिरी संसारमा के चाहिन्छ त्यो कुराहरु क्लासरुममा दिनु पर्यो हैन. जे कुरा विद्यार्थीले क्लासरुम भित्र सिक्छ नि, what they learn inside the classroom सिचुएसनमा जे सिक्छ त्यो कुरा रियल लाइफ सिचुएसनमा युज हुन पर्यो हैन. This kind of, gap should be bridged in English language class. So this is what practicality, simply you understand like this. And अब हामी knowledge based education but skill based education मा shift हुनुपर्छ अब. So till now we are focusing what? Knowledge based education. Just we want to give knowledge. Do you know this? Yes, this is this, like this, we give lecture. Now, time has demanded not this kind of knowledge-based lecture, informative lectures, but what is skill development type of activities, explore. That is practical. So this kind of, focus should be in English language class, not a particular method, not GT method, not direct method, not audiolingual method, but what? This is what might be, blended form of different methods, but reality is what? Your teaching and learning activities should be particular, specific, individually specific. Then what should be practical? This is related to the real life situation. Then what should be possibility? Possibility means exploring, individual, individual, learners, learners' inherent potentiality. Okay, so why don't we explore, such, every individual learner's inherent potentiality? हामी माध्यमिक शिक्षाको चाहिँ राष्ट्रिय उद्देश्य हेर्यौं भने पहिलो नम्बरको उद्देश्य हाम्रो के हो छ? पहिलो नम्बरको उद्देश्य भनेकै तपाईँको प्रत्येक व्यक्तिको अन्तर्निहित प्रतिभालाई प्रपुष्टन गर्ने यस्तो कुराहरू छन् हैन. So why don't we explore this kind of inherent potentiality of students? So in curriculum we also we also check that learning principles भनेर दिएको थियो नि करिकुलममा. त्यहाँ के दिएको छ त्यहाँ इन्डिभिजुअलाइजेसन भन्ने छ हैन. individualization, personalization, personalization. So these are given there. This is what then they have their ideas, they have their feelings, experience, they have their own private opinions. Then why don't we provide a chance to explore that? So possibility says should not be हाम्रो अहिलेको प्र्याक्टिस के हो भने अहिलेको प्र्याक्टिस बैंकिङ सिस्टम अफ एजुकेसनमै छौं कि हामी अझै बैंकिङ सिस्टम अफ एजुकेसन. यस बैंकिङ सिस्टम अफ एजुकेसन यसले भन्ने चाहिँ के हो भने बैंकिङ सिस्टम अफ एजुकेसनले सो स्टुडेन्ट्स माइन्ड्स आर बैंक्स अकाउन्ट. ओके, स्टुडेन्ट्स or learners minds are banks account, and teachers deposit their knowledge in students mind as account, and we expect interest. And त्यसबाट चाहिँ creativity खोज्ने हैन, their critical thinking, creativity, innovation we expect then. So this kind of practice still we have in our education system. So students minds are bank's account, and teacher is what depository. Teacher deposits his or her knowledge in students mind is true knowledge. Then we expect what innovation and creativity, and then what their negotiation skills, leadership skill, these different things, soft skills we expect. So this now shift should be shift should be from what? Shift should be from banking system to banking. That's why banking system to what? What do we say? Interactional, transactional, then what? Transactional, TRAN, yes, AC, transactional, and transformational. Now teaching, teaching should focus interaction. Teaching should focus on transaction. Transact means there should be give and take. Students also have some potentialities, some experiences they also have, and teacher also has. So both sides they share, they exchange ideas. So there should be transaction, give and take, dialogue should be there. And transformation is they have to what? Shift in their learning. This kind of shift should be in the in teaching English classroom. Then this explores the possibility of students. So अहिलेको मोडल भनेको हामी बैंकिङ सिस्टम अफ एजुकेसन, यो बैंकिङ सिस्टम अफ एजुकेसन भनेको फेरि यो ट्रान्समिसन मोडल हो यो भनेको TRANSMISS ट्रान्समिसन मोडल हो यो भनेको हैन. अब यो ट्रान्समिसन मोडल भनेको बिहेभियरिस्टिक लर्निङ थ्योरीजमा बेस्ड छ हैन mainly. So what behaviorist they claim is, so we can develop good habits by repetition, memorization, drilling, pattern practice. We can form good habits of the students. That is learning bhanja behavioristically. Same thing what is happen in the transmission model. Transmission, teacher transmits or teacher transfers his or her knowledge into students mind. This transmission model. So this kind of system we have now. We have to shift from transmission model to interactional, transactional, transformational model in teaching and learning to explore what? To explore every learner's inherent potentialities. So pedagogy should be such. Interactive हुनु पर्यो, collaborative हुनु पर्यो, cooperative हुनु पर्यो, communicative हुनु पर्यो. Then what happens? Then students, they get opportunity to share, to communicate, to negotiate, to work in group, to learn from each other, and what they develop this kind of they ultimately help to explore the individual what or inherent potentialities of the students, every student's possibility in learning language. So this kind of situation, this kind of scenario we have in the present time. So post method pedagogy says this: to address the vision, to address the concept of post method pedagogy, how can we adapt textbook? This is our again main concern. अब यहाँ टेक्स्ट बुकलाई ल्याएर जोड्नुपर्छ, यस्तो किसिमको सिनारियो छ हामीसँग हैन. So no single method could address classroom reality. So our pedagogy should be, our lesson planning should be, our daily activity should be to address the particular student's need, should be real world link, should focus on possibility of the students. Now to address these realities, how do we adapt textbook in English class? This is our main concern. Okay, अब हामीले टेक्स्टबुकलाई यो हिसाबले टेक्स्टबुकलाई कसरी एडाप्ट गर्ने होला, एउटा चाहिँ यो पोस्ट मेथड पेडागोजीको एरा छ हैन. Okay. And here eclectic method also, this is blended method, and it expects, it claims that ideas from different methods, should be what borrowed while designing activity, or while using in the classroom different activities methods. Blended methods should be used, not a single method. Single method like China. So some flavor from GT method, like translation if necessary, situation demands. Then direct method, giving a lot of exposure in English by the use of action, demonstration, question answer, modeling. Then what using non-verbal features like body language, eye movement, hands movement. Using these different activities or techniques, we can communicate in English. One GT method. Direct method, translation necessary, and translation exercises can be useful in English language classroom. Audio lingual pattern practice तिर जानु पर्छ, drilling तिर जानु पर्छ, memorization तिर जानु पर्छ, repetition गर्नु पर्छ, learning happens भन्छ हैन. So according to the situation, we use ideas from different methods. This is the eclectic form. This is blended up also. Then pragmatism. Okay, context is important. So context determines learning of language use and language learning also. So best practice versus best fit practice is today's debate. आजको विवादै के हो भने, do we search for best practice or best fit practice? This is what we have to discuss. And our conclusion from this discussion should be not best practice but best fit practice, because reason is what if situation differs, then activity also differs. एउटा सिचुएसनबाट अर्को सिचुएसनमा जाने बित्तिकै के भन्छ भने एक्टिभिटी पनि फरक भइहाल्छ. इन द सेम वे एक्सपर्टिज भन्ने कुराहरू चाहिँ एक्सपर्टिज डज नट come from abroad. किनेर ल्याउने चीज हो हैन expertise भनेको. What we do, expertise does not come from abroad, but develop in terms of what? In terms of local knowledge. So we have to focus to the knowledge what we have. अबको practice भनेको, expertise does not come from abroad, but develop in terms of local knowledge. Whatever we have, from there we have to develop what expertise. So expertise emerges through interaction and discussion. हामी interaction discussion मा जानुपर्छ त्यहीबाट चाहिँ यो expertise भन्ने कुरा आउँछ best practice भनेर we don't fully or completely we don't follow, we don't use in the name of best practice. So we seek best fit practice. For that we have to adapt the textbook. These are the context. Your context but तीन चारवटा सेन्टेन्सहरु मिलाएर लेख्नुभयो भने then this will be useful, I hope. So localization, adaptation meaning localizing of the textbook, addressing to the local needs. So we don't dictate textbook, we don't dictate textbook, we don't tell every lines, every sentence, every details from the textbook. Textbook is just context with you. From that context we can design our own activities. Then we can add some activities, we can remove some activities which we feel not relevant and useful there. Then this kind of authority teachers have, they can do. So localization of textbook, simplify the text content and activities to make best suit to the learner's needs and interest. This is adaptation of textbook. Making best fit for the purpose, this is also adaptation of textbook. Supplementing textbook by the use of additional text, tags and activities, this is adaptation of textbook. So teacher should be a text adapter. Teacher ne ke ho bhane ultimately this is what text adapter. Okay, so adaptation simply textbook adaptation simply we yaha ajai yasto lekhidium textbook adaptation means localizing what localizing textbook, so addressing the local needs of the students, urgent needs of the students, and localizing text adaptation means what, just simplifying the text content and activities to make it best to make it best suit to the to make it best suit or best fit to the students' needs and interest. So text adaptation means making best fit for the purpose, supplementing some additional tags, text and activities. So this is what text adaptation. Techniques of textbook adaptation, like we can supplement some additional resources, tags and what text activities we can add here. Supplementing, we mean to fulfill the needs of learning needs of the learners is expected by the curriculum. We can design and use some more text, listening text, reading text, writing text, some more additional new variety of text we can introduce in the classroom. Some new tags can be introduced in the classroom. Some new activities can be used in the classroom. This is what supplementation. So after teacher's guide, we discussed there are different supplementary materials, like dictionary can be one supplementary material. So dictionary can help students to enrich their vocabulary power, to develop their language. This kind of different supplementary materials we have to use to support or to adapt the textbook. Expanding means whatever the content, activities, text given there, just we paraphrase, we simplify, and we help students to understand and learn. Localizing, fitting to the local needs and interest of the students. We do this. Then modernizing, some new concepts and ideas might have developed. Then why don't we integrate? Why don't you include in such English class to while using textbook? Simplification, we use simple languages, simple sentences, simple structure, and then they easily understand it. Adjusting means according to the needs. So we adjust, some removing, some some adding, some activities adding, some activities removing. So this kind of adjustment we can do, and modifying also, removing all as well as adding here. So this kind of techniques we can use while adapting textbook in English classroom. So need of text adaptation, one size fits to all approach we are using. Textbook is everything भनेर हामीले गरिरहेका छौं. Textbook is everything, all in all, हैन, सर्वै सराउ भन्छ नि, हैन. textbook, one textbook is all in all. Service rao, all in all. So this kind of concept we have. So change it. Change one person. A group of writers at the central level write textbook and send it to implement it send to implement across the country. अब यो सेन्ट्रल लेभलमा CDC ले बनाउँछ हैन. CDC develops curriculum, writes textbook, and will send at the district level, local level to implement this. So a textbook written by a group of writer, a single writer, can do you think that it is everything? Do you think does it address every student's learning needs and interest? Of course not. So we have to what? We have to try to adapt in our context. Then true knowledge cannot be predicted. So we don't bring expertise from abroad. Like we should generate in local level, at local level. We should generate at local level. True knowledge emerges through interaction. So this kind of interaction, transaction should be used in the classroom. यति कुराहरु चाहिँ एन्सरमा पर्न पर्छ भनेर मैले एउटा स्याम्पल फ्रेमवर्क मात्र राखेको छु. You try to write your answer from within this frame. Then if you expect from me, then I will give you from my side. मेरो साइडबाट sample I will provide. But these are the frame ideas within answer frame. You try, because it's you have to write an exam. तपाईं आफैले लेख्ने हो, ट्राई गर्नु पर्यो हैन. So simply parameters of textbook. This is what you can understand is textbook should be written in line with objectives mentioned in the curriculum. Textbook should be written in line with students' needs and interest. Textbook should be written in line with creating different context, communicative context, or let's say focusing on local context. Textbook should be written in terms of what bridging the skill using and skill getting in the classroom situation. So bridging tool is that. So these are some few parameters in terms of which we can check, or we can see, or we can judge a textbook, whether it is based on curriculum objectives, whether it is based on students' individual needs and interest, whether it is based on to create context for the students interaction, discussion. So textbook is just one platform. A platform, or a kind of context. So then what we discuss, we interact, we share in terms of which then what students they learn. And this kind of parameters we can see. Ultimately, textbook is one implementing tool to deliver the objectives of the curriculum. So there should be the link. Curriculum states competencies and learning outcomes. So textbook should focus to develop the competencies and learning outcomes mentioned in the curriculum. So textbooks should be written in line with the curriculum objectives. This is one important parameter. Should be written to explore students individual needs and interests. Another parameter. Should be practical. Should be should be capable to explore individual students' possibility. These are the parameters of textbook. So you can do right. I want from you, sir, only possible. These are the possible. This is unit 5. This is unit 5. Then we are talking about curriculum, overview of lower secondary English curriculum. We discuss curriculum part, overview of curriculum, different elements of curriculum. Then we discuss textbook also. Then now we shift towards the teacher's guide. Our teacher's guide means यो यसको sample answer यो त textbook adaptation भयो. What are the best possible ways of using textbook? Yesterday we discussed, हिजो हामीले छलफल गर्यौं. Then text adaptation techniques today we discuss. So this kind of problem नै यही हो के हाम्रो question आउने भनेको problem बाटै हो. What are the problems? Then how do you address that problem? For example, what is the problem in the present time is textbook is all in all. So सर्वेसर आयो भनेर प्रयोग भइराखेको छ के अहिले textbook चाहिँ. So every details, every lines, every sentence, every paragraph, every details what teacher dictates to the students. So is this good? Is this the expected way of dealing or using textbook? Textbook क्यों? Textbook, just one tool or one, means to implement the curriculum objectives. So textbook just creates the context. This is the what context and what platform it creates. Then it is the teacher and students, they can design their own activities, then text and what tags, and they can what interact. They can interact, they can share, they can communicate. They can debate, they can negotiate and learn language. So context हो textbook, but we teach everything, every detail from textbook. त्यहाँ गल्ती नै भए पनि हामी त्यही गल्ती पढाइन्छ क्या textbook कुराहरुमा. हैन पहिला पहिला चाहिँ एउटा दुईटा चाहिँ कन्सेप्ट अथवा भनौं न एक्टिभिटीहरु रङ थियो के टेक्स्टबुकमा, तर टिचरहरुले त्यही रङ पुरै पढाउनु भयो क्या. So this kind of practice we have. Then we don't have such bold decision to change the activities which are not relevant and not practical to the students. We don't show our confidence to change, to supplement other activities. But what we do, we teach everything from textbook. This kind of practice we have. Now situation is different. According to the situation, how do we best utilize textbook? I don't mean that textbook is not useful. Textbook should not be utilized in what we say is a main document or main resource for learning. We can use, or we can apply. Textbook is one major resource for teaching and learning in the classroom. We can use, but what is the important is what students needs and interest. Of course, the textbook written by a group of writers at the central level may not address the local needs of the students who are living in different parts of the country. So sometimes we need to localize. Sometimes we need to adapt. Sometimes we need to supplement textbook. So why don't we think about this context textbook use go? Then how do we best utilize textbook from these areas? Please you try to prepare. I think will be okay. Then we discuss TG तिर जाउँ. यसो हेरौँ अझ के समस्या पर्यो भने छलफल गरौँला फेरि. So teacher guide, this is what from the topic it is clear. Teacher guide means guide for the teacher, or document that guides teachers classroom activities. Simply you understand like this, यहाँ टपिकबाट बुझ्नु पर्यो के. टिचर गाइड मिन्स टिचरलाई निर्देशन गर्ने हो नि त्यसले, हैन. सो डकुमेन्ट or book, or what we say document that guides teachers classroom activities. Classroom activities कसरी run गर्ने, what kind of activities should be selected and designed to deliver the content mentioned in the curriculum and textbook. So this is what teacher guide to the teacher. Teacher, gets benefits from the teacher guide to design and deliver the activities in the classroom. So simply from the topic, you understand like this. The शीर्षक बाटै थोरै कुरा बुझ्न पर्यो हैन. Teacher guide for the teacher, supporting material for the teacher, helping document for the teacher, and helping document, supporting document, guiding document for the teachers in teaching and learning process. This is what from the title we understand. Now some talking points I have written here, like what is teacher guide, what is the purpose of writing teacher guide, to whom TG is written, how to best utilize it, कसरी यसलाई best utilize गर्ने हो हैन. So just a minute. Yes. Now let's discuss TG. What is teacher guide? TG. So teacher guide is a reference material of the teachers. A reference material for the teacher. Let's say teacher ko name reference material. Sandarbha samakri ho. This is reference material. It is helping document for the teacher and for the experienced teacher. This is helping document, and for the novice teachers or inexperienced teacher, just beginners, this is lifesaver document also. Those teachers who have just theoretical idea about teaching and learning, does not have practical tips, practical ideas, and when he or she goes inside the classroom and feels very difficult to adjust, then what kind of activities should be used to address the students needs and interest. So may not be such kind of ideas, tactics to survive in the classroom. So to survive in the classroom, teacher guide can be one lifesaver document, especially for the novice teachers, beginners, and what inexperienced teacher, अनुभव नभएको सुरुमा पढाउन सुरु गरेको टिचरहरुको लागि भने TG becomes what lifesaver document, lifesaver document, and survival helps to survive in the diversity. So this is helping document for the teachers, as well as what lifesaver document for novice teacher. अनुभव नभएको beginnersलाई चाहिँ के हुन्छ, यो lifesaver document हुन सक्छ. टिचर आतिन्छ हैन, so feels very difficult to adjust, to be familiar with the students and to address their needs and interest. That there is every individual they are making noise in the classroom, they are talking, chatting, discussing, fighting, making noise. And to address this kind of diversity, this kind of unexpected talk in the classroom, a novice teacher feels very frightened. Then if he gets this TG, and TG details, TG provides every detail how to conduct the classroom according to the textbook, so then gets what very new ideas, meaningful ideas, and can use in the classroom. Then it will be what lifesaver type of usko life नै save हुन्छ क्या. So this is what lifesaver document, what I call. So I realized this, and I have used the word lifesaver document. Okay, helping document, you understand. Lifesaver document, you understand. I have added. So textbook, it is the textbook implementing tool. So TG is written to implement the textbook concept. So TG details, TG provides every detail of using textbook activities, textbook content in the classroom, in the regular teaching. So if curriculum contains content to be taught, curriculum le content दिन्छ भने textbook contents, textbook creates भनौं न, textbook creates, sorry, textbook creates context of language teaching, and it is the TG that details, that describes classroom delivery process. curriculum contents, content to be taught, subject matter to be taught. Textbook creates context for language teaching and learning, and it is the TG and that details that describes classroom delivery process. These three documents have intimate relationship, close relationship. One supports to another. They have to go side by side, interacting and shaping each other, not in isolation. Not in isolation, they have to go side by side. एउटाले अर्कोलाई support गर्ने हो. Curriculum is there, then textbook is there, then TG is there. First, curriculum will be there. Curriculum, provisions, curriculum mentions, the possible objectives, learning outcomes. They are the teaching content. They are the teaching content. Of course, language functions will be there. Of course, skills will be there. Grammar part will be there. Content will be in the curriculum. Then it is the textbook that creates the context for language teaching and learning. Context will be there, and it is the TG that describes the classroom delivery process. How do we implement the concept of curriculum and textbook in regular day-to-day classroom teaching? So TG explains, TG describes every detail of classroom delivery. So these three documents have to go side by side, interacting and shaping each other. So this is what we can call as TG. So TG is a robust and vibrant bridge between curriculum and textbook. So if written teacher guide, it connects between curriculum and textbook, and it is such implementing tool that students learn the objectives stated in the curriculum, then will be utilize the context created in the textbook. So this is such. So simply we understand TG is what teachers, not students. Teachers reading material, teachers reading material, teachers reference material. Then it is a helping document for the teacher, as well as lifesaver document for the novice teachers, beginning teachers. सुरुमा पढाएको अनुभव नभएको एकदमै नोभिस टिचरहरुको लागि चाहिँ टिजी चाहिँ एउटा लाइफ सेभर डकुमेन्टै हुन सक्छ So it is the implementing tool, textbook implementing tool. We implement the concept of textbook by the use of TG. So curriculum contains content to be taught. Textbook creates context of language teaching and learning. Then TG describes classroom delivery process. Every details will be provided. We understand this. And TG functions as the bridge, एकदमै vibrant bridge, one robust, strong bridge between curriculum and textbook. Then what is the purpose of writing and using textbook? किन लेखिन्छ, किन यसलाई प्रयोग गर्न पर्यो त भन्दाखेरि some points we can just discuss. Principally or theoretically, teacher guide is one of the supporting or helping documents for the teachers while facilitating students to learn what curriculum envisions and textbook contents. करिकुलमले के परिकल्पना गर्छ, टेक्स्टबुकले जे कुरा चाहिँ क्रिएट टेक्स्टबुकले जे कुरा कन्टेन्ट अथवा टेक्स्टबुकले जे कुरा consist टेक्स्टमा कन्सिस्ट हुन्छ, and then what that will be what delivered by the use of TG. This is the principle. This is the theoretical understanding. This is the what theoretical understanding. Principally, textbook is the TG is this. So this is helping document, supporting document, facilitating document to the teachers while delivering textbook vision and curriculum vision and textbook context. It serves many functions if it is used in a systematic way. The main purpose or objectives of writing and using teacher guide can be summarized in the following points, like to guide teacher towards expected direction of teaching and learning process. What is the direction? What is the anticipated direction? कता जानु पर्छ भन्ने expectation कस्तो थियो त्यता जानु पर्छ त्यसको लागि चाहिँ so teacher guide can be one guiding document. यसले दिशा निर्देश गर्छ हैन. So TG helps to maintain uniformity in teaching and learning process. If TG written are developed by one authorized institution. Then other implementing agencies, implementing institutions like schools, they utilize TG, and when they utilize TG systematic way, in an honest way, what happens? Then there will be the uniformity in teaching and learning process in across the country, in different parts of the country. Same teaching and learning process will be adopted, and there will be uniformity, consistency in teaching and learning process. So for the uniformity, then for the consistency, then what TG is, what useful one document, supporting document, helping document. TG provides the direction where to go, कतातिर जाने, maintains the uniformity and consistency in teaching and learning process, and helps to standardize the teaching and learning activity. So this is when TG is followed or utilized, it helps to maintain a kind of standard in school level. Standard maintain गर्नको लागि पनि TG becomes useful, and to systematize the whole language learning process also. So systematically, one after another, teaching and learning process goes on. So to guide the direction towards the direction, to maintain the uniformity and consistency in teaching and learning, to maintain to maintain the standard of teaching and learning, and to systematize the whole language learning process, and help teachers to plan everyday lessons. TG becomes useful. Help teachers to plan everyday lesson activities. Everyday lesson activities with a variety of materials and activities. So TG helps teacher to do this, to do their job in a professional way. So to implement textbook concept effectively and efficiently, one thing. Then to enhance teachers' subject matter knowledge also, to familiarize teacher with the delivery process of textbook lesson, how to deliver. So teachers, they become familiar with the process, delivery, basic delivery process. कसरी deliver गर्ने होला textbook lesson भन्ने पार्टमा चाहिँ will be familiar. So enhance content knowledge, subject matter knowledge also. Implement the textbook concept effectively and efficiently. Help teachers to plan everyday lesson activities and materials. Systematize overall language learning process. Standardize teaching and learning activity. Maintain uniformity and consistency in teaching and learning. So guide teacher towards particular direction, expected direction. कता जानु भनेको त्यतातिर जानु पर्यो के. So this kind of expected direction TG shows, then teacher gets the support to reach the destination. गन्तव्यमा पुग्नको लागि पनि TG ले support गर्छ. So these things we can mention under the TG. So this is for the teacher. This is for the teacher. Why? Because of these objectives we use. So to whom TG is written. TG is this is especially for the teachers to carry out their everyday lesson. And National Curriculum Development Center in Nepal, not national, let's say Curriculum Development Center, we understand simply. Curriculum Development Center, CDC in Nepal, develops teacher guide. They have this kind of mandate, this kind of mandate they have. Then subject experts and veteran teachers, write TG. They, write the TG. So next point is review of present status of using TG. TG कतिको use हुन्छ त, कसरी use हुन्छ त, then we have to review also. Like CDC does not want to prepare TG first part. If prepared, it wouldn't be open for wider use. Most of the teachers, all the teachers across the country, they don't get. And what happens? So they want to have such kind of interest and desire to search, to select, to use in the classroom. So first, CDC has the mandate. One does not want to prepare of all subjects and of all levels. If prepared, not available for the wider use. This kind of situation we have in the present. Here also, many of you are teachers teaching in the present. So I think you don't have TG. तपाईसँग TG छैन हैन, because of what? Now just you reflect गर्नुस् किन TG छैन. TG त राम्रो रहेछ नि हैन, to maintain standard, to support the teacher, to plan everyday lesson हैन, to systematize the whole teaching and learning process. So TG is important, we understand, but why don't we get it? So just you reflect, review, and you can write this. So this is what you can get, and how do best we utilize it. So just we can link curriculum, textbook, and TG, and then creating learning center activities in the classroom. TG should be explored, and creating a variety of text activities materials. TG should be such useful document. So these things we discuss here, and in our next class we continue from here, and we start some other supplementary materials like the use of dictionary and the newspaper, then other things. Thank you. Now primary.
सम्पूर्णलाई नमस्कार। आज चाहिँ बेसर जोडिनु हुँदैन है। आजको क्लास चाहिँ गौरव म्यामले लिनुहुन्छ, थोरै समय लाग्छ है। ल भन्नुहोस् आज हजुरहरुसँग समस्या के छ? धेरै जना हुनुहुन्छ, नयाँ विद्यार्थीहरु को हुनुहुन्छ कृपया गरेर भर्ना सम्बन्धीको डिटेल बुझिहाल्नु होला, भर्ना गरिहाल्नु होला है। चुनावको छुट्टी आजबाट हो है। सर कुन विषय हुन्छ भन्नुहुन्छ, प्राइमेरी लेभलको हुन्छ है। हजुर म्याम। हजुर। आज चाहिँ तपाईहरुको प्राइमेरी लेभलको बिहान क्लास हुँदैन, किनभने हामीले प्राइमेरी लेभलको डबल क्लास लिइरहेका छौं बिहान बेलुका गरेर। बेलुका चाहिँ क्लास हुन्छ, बेलुका गौरव म्यामले लिनुहुन्छ, उहाँ पनि व्यस्तता हुनुभएको रहेछ। अनि बेसरको चाहिँ इमर्जेन्सी नै आएको भएर भर्खरै कल गरेको थिएँ, उहाँ आउन पाउनु भएन। ल भोलि पनि कक्षा हुन्छ भन्नुभएको छ, भोलि कक्षा हुँदैन है, 2 गतेसम्म बिदा हो है। तपाईलाई इन्फर्म हुन्छ, तपाईलाई आउँछ पेजमै नोटिफिकेसन आउँछ, पेजमा आउनु है। सर हिजोको भिडियो सर भन्नुभएको छ, हालिसकेको छ है। यस्तो हो बिदा, हामीले अफिसियली बिदा चाहिँ नि अब कसैलाई पनि गर्दैन, हामीले भर्ना लिनु पनि लिइराखेका हुन्छौँ, तपाईलाई दिनुपर्ने क्लासहरु दिइराखेका हुन्छौँ। तर अब सरहरु, तपाईलाई पढाउने सरहरु नै बिदामा भएपछि उहाँहरु पनि अब कता टाढाको हुनुहुन्छ, कता कता जानुपर्ने हुन्छ है। 1 गते या 2 गतेमा चाहिँ एक दिनमा चाहिँ हुन्छ सर रमेश सरसँग हिजो कन्ट्याक्ट हुँदा चाहिँ 1 गतेबाटै गर्ने हो भन्नुभएको छ सायदै अब कोर्स सकिँदैन भनेर 1 गतेबाटै सुरु हुन सक्छ है मेरोमा त भिडियो आएको छैन भन्नुभएको छ तपाईँ बेलुका क्लासमा आउनुहोस् त म्याम जुम आइडी यही हो तपाईँको त जुम आइडी देखाउँछ त्यो जुम आइडी हालेर 5 बजेदेखि 6 बजे क्लासमा सरी 4 बजेदेखि 5 बजे क्लासमा आउनु होला है पिडिएफहरु हुन्छ है पिडिएफहरु हुन्छ कुन सरले यति दुःख गर्नुभएछ भन्नलाई पिडिएफहरु हुन्छ है पिडिएफहरु हुन्छ सरहरूले उपलब्ध गराइहाल्नुहुन्छ अब यो चुनावको बिचमा अब यति अब आज र भोलिमा चाहिँ हामीले पिडिएफहरु सबै हालिन्छ है रिजल्ट 29 गते आउने कुरा छ है रिजल्ट चाहिँ 29 गते आउने कुरा छ क्लास चाहिँ हुँदैन है आज क्लास हुँदैन आज 13 गतेको भिडियो 14 गतेदेखिको छ है 13 गतेको 13 गतेको कुन सरको बेस्ट सरको भिडियो हो निम्न माध्यमिक तहको अध्यापन अनुमति पत्रको बुक चाहिँ बजारमा रिलिज भइसकेको छ अब कसैले पनि छिट्टै झर्छ है अब आज चाहिँ कुनै क्लास हुन्छ है गौरव अधिकारी म्यामले लिनुहुन्छ है 8 PM को भन्नुभएको छ 8 बजे प्राइभेटको हुँदैन है 6:30 बजे हुन्छ है प्राइभेटको क्लास चाहिँ